Materials needed. You will need a set of flashcards. The capital letters on one side, the small letters on the other side. You will also need a wall chart. If you take this book to most copy places, they will enlarge the chart to whatever size you require. For example, like this. If you are working with an individual student, you can just have the chart copied as is, like this. The procedure will be teach, reinforce, and test. Teach. Explain to the class that these consonants are called the tough guys because they won't talk to you. That is, when you pronounce the name of a letter, they won't tell you their sounds. Then direct attention to the wall chart and explain that these tough guys won't outsmart them because the pictures will give them away. What's the first sound in cat?
K.
And that's the sound of C. What's the first sound in girl?
G.
And that's the sound of G. What's the first sound in house?
H.
And that's the sound of H. What's the first sound in queen?
Qu.
And that's the sound of Q. What's the first sound in wagon?
W.
And that's the sound of W. What's the first sound in yo-yo?
Y.
And that's the sound of Y. Now repeat after me. C, k, cat.
C, K, cat.
Good. G, g, girl.
G, G, girl.
H, h, house.
H, H, house.
Q, queen.
Q, Qu, queen.
W, wagon.
W, wagon.
Y, yo-yo.
Y, yo-yo.
After this initial introduction, review the tough guys every day during the flashcard review as follows. The teacher will say, "Why are these called the tough guys?" And the students will reply,
Because they won't talk to you.
recite the chart.
C, K, cat. G, G, girl. H, H, house. Q, Qu, queen. W, wagon. Y, yo-yo.
Very good, very good. And then flash the cards. Now, I will say just the name of the letter, and you will say just the sound. C,
K,
right, G,
G,
H,
H,
Q,
Qu,
W,
W,
Y.
Y.
When you feel that your class is ready, a few days later or whenever, have them pronounce the sound directly from the card without your first saying the name of the letter. When they cannot recall a sound, refer them to the wall chart and have them find it themselves. Can you tell me? Very good.
G,
You don't know this? What picture is under the H?
house.
What's the first sound in house?
H,
And that's the sound of H.
Qu, W,
All right. What is the picture under the Y?
yo-yo.
What's the first sound in yo-yo?
Y.
And that's the sound of Y. Be sure to review these cards every single day. One day, do the capital letters and then shuffle the cards. The next day, do the small letters and shuffle the cards, and continue that way. Next is reinforce. Several suggestions for reinforcement are given here, and I would like to demonstrate just one of these suggestions. This reinforcement technique is called the bunny hop. Now, each student will be given a pair of rabbit ears. And there goes your beautiful hairdo, Noreen. Okay? And they will be given 6 eggs on which are printed the letters for the tough guys. Now, if they can give the correct sound for the tough guys, the class will say hop, and they will hop across the room and deposit the egg into the basket. If they cannot give the correct sound, the class will say stop, and they will have to refer to the chart and get the correct sound. Now, because we don't have hopping space here, when Noreen has the correct answer, she will simply deposit the egg into the basket. I'm going to give you these eggs. Would you hold up the first egg, and can you tell us the sound of the, hold it up so everyone can see it, and could you tell us the sound of the first egg?
H,
You may put it in the basket. Can you tell us the next one?
G,
You may put it in the basket. And the next one, I know you don't know that one, do you? What is the picture under the Y?
yo-yo.
What's the first sound in yo-yo?
Y.
And you may put it in the basket. And continue that way. Thank you. Very good. You have your ears. You look pretty in rabbit ears. Some special information about the tough guys. However, this information is not to be introduced now during the prerequisite skills. Introduce it later after the children have begun to read as the information is needed. For example, when you're ready to introduce a word like city, a few days beforehand, tell the class that C can sometimes be a good guy. C, S. But always try the tough guy first. When you're ready to introduce a word like giraffe, a few days beforehand, tell the class that G could sometimes be a good guy. G, J, giraffe. But always try G first. When you're ready to introduce a word like quick, a few days beforehand, tell the children that Q never goes out alone. It always goes out with a U. When you're ready to introduce a word like my, a few days beforehand, tell the children that Y on the end says I. The hand motion denotes a short word of about 2 or 3 letters. When you're ready to introduce a word like happy, a few days beforehand, tell the class that Y on the end says E. And the hand motion denotes a word of 4 or 5 or more letters. So therefore, at that time and not now during the prerequisite skills, you will review the tough guys as follows. C, K, and sometimes S. G, G, and sometimes J. H, H. Q, Qu, always goes out with a U. W, W. Y, Y. But Y in the end says I, and Y in the end says E. Next is testing. Give at least 1 test a week, and if you're working with individual students, give a test more often because it's very reinforcing. Each student will receive a piece of paper, and we will proceed as follows. If the teachers in the video audience would take a piece of paper and follow along, it will be good practice. Now, number 1. What tough guy has the sound of G? Now, if you don't know, look at the picture G. What picture did you look at, Noreen, when I said G?
Girl.
So it must be a what?
G.
Very good. All right, number 2. What tough guy has the sound of Qu? If you don't know, look at the picture of the Qu, Qu. What picture did you look at, Noreen?
Queen.
So it must be a what?
Q.
Very good. All right, number 3. What tough guy says W? W. Now, I noticed that somebody put a Y there. Is this a wo-wo?
Mm-hmm.
So it can't be a Y. What picture did you look at when I said what, Noreen?
Wagon.
So it must be what letter?
W.
Very good. Now continue this way for as many items as you want to test. After the children are familiar with the test, don't check back each answer each time by writing it on the board. Simply dictate the test, collect the papers, and correct it later. And now let's move on to the next skill. The next skill will be digraphs.